Now, Kiwifruit is one of New Zealand's top fruit exports and an icon of the country. And Zespri, which manages a third of the world's kiwi fruit production, is one of the thousands of companies participating at the International Import Expo this year. Our reporter Wei Lynn Tang once again talking to CEO Daniel Mathieson about the company's outlook in China.
China and Japan are two of Zespri's most important markets. These two, I think, they account for over 20% of your group revenue. How much more significant will China's contribution be to Zespri in the near and medium term?
So China has been one of our fastest growing markets now over the last decade. And just this year, China has overtaken Japan to be our #1 market. Now represents about 20% of our overall sales, and about 100,000 tonne of New Zealand and our non-New Zealand supply is now exported into China. We see that continuing rapidly, and in fact, at the moment on average, Chinese consumers only eat about half a piece of kiwi fruit, and we believe we can grow that at least to one piece of kiwi fruit on average, which would see our sales double by 2025. So to move today from about 100,000 tonne to about 200,000 tonne in the future. China is a very exciting market for us, not just because of our sales from New Zealand and our other non-New Zealand supply locations, but because it has a very vibrant kiwi fruit industry here. And so we want to obviously work very closely with them to help raise the performance and quality of Chinese kiwi fruit. So
you mentioned that besides the scale of the Chinese market, right, 1.4 billion people, it's also very exciting to operate here. What about the challenges, though, that you're seeing in terms of, like a foreign business operating here?
The biggest challenge right now, I would say, is around food safety and quality, and ensuring that our supply chain from our growing all the way through to our consumer is at the strongest level. And so we're investing a lot of money in doing that. I think secondly is around IP protection. There is a lot of innovation happening in China and in New Zealand around new and exciting varieties for consumers that can also generate significant value for growers in New Zealand, but also growers here in China in the future. But it is really important that we see a strengthening of IP protection, as we've seen in other sectors here in China over the last few years, to help make sure that we have a very strong value chain and we can create a sustainable business platform in the future.
But China's, in terms of its strengthening of its IP, it has been improving over the years. Would you say that?
Absolutely. Yeah, we've seen a remarkable improvement in IP protection. And just yesterday in President Xi's speech here at the CIIE, he mentioned that he wants to have a perfect IP protection system going forward, and that's really encouraging for us in the horticultural sector and in the agricultural sector, because probably that's one of has been one of the slower areas to see development over the last few years.
China has been importing more fruits. I think last year, 2018, in terms of volume, in terms of value, it saw strong growth. Do you foresee this momentum to continue, and what is this driven by?
China over the last 70 years has accelerated at a rapid pace in food production. And really today they're at a point where they are self-sufficient in food production. And that's been fantastic development for the Chinese market. We see ongoing development in that space because now Chinese consumers are accepting of a whole lot of international products across food and across fresh produce. And so we see that continuing because Chinese consumers are looking for new tastes, new flavors, but most importantly, they're looking for foods that offer them health and nutrition. And kiwi fruit, of course, fits in perfectly to that, as does the wider fruit basket. So we see this trend continuing. Zespri's role in that is obviously to keep communicating to consumers about the health and nutrition benefits of kiwi fruit, and then consumers will make their choices.